Usually on your journey towards purpose, there is no how or there is no time God will show you everything.
Clarity comes from action.
Yes. The more step you take, the more it's as if somebody is opening the door, and it becomes clearer with each step you are taking. That is why one thing God usually do is that He just gives you a fragmented picture of your future. Fragmented. That's why you can be sleeping, you just have a dream, and you're speaking in front of a crowd. God went to the end, picked a picture of that end, came to your current state, and showed you. He just showed you the end. That's a picture of the future He has created for you. So when you have that picture, you now know that, okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, I have this vision to impact the lives of teenagers. This is my vision. I want to do this thing. And then when you have discovered that, that's okay. You now start defining it. Like I said before, God does not give you the entire. He doesn't give you. Sometimes, most times, some people say, okay, discover. You know, when I was telling about my journey towards purpose, people used to say, discover your purpose. Discover your purpose. I said, how did they discover this purpose? Like there was no clear. This is one of the reasons why I designed that my course. That course was just to give people the exact practical. Don't tell me discover your purpose and then you tell me when I ask you how, just tell me go and check it in the Bible. Hello, the Bible is over 1,000 pages. Will I just? Well, some people say go and ask God. Good. Not many people have that interaction, that close relationship with God, that when they talk to Him, they'll be able to hear Him when He speaks, or they'll even be able to know how to communicate. Not many people have that. So there was this vagueness. Some people say, okay, go and check the internet. The internet, this is so vague. Like everybody is shouting, discover purpose, but nobody's telling us how. That how was what drove me, because it took me so long to discover mine. You know that sometimes one of the things God do is that the path He's driving you into, He will allow you to pass through the tribulations of that path.
Oh, thank you. That's a very nice line.
He will allow you pass through that thing. If, for example, you are supposed to be, let's say you are supposed to help, let's say, for example, I'm giving an example. If you're supposed to deliver people from poverty, check your family will come out from a deep or terrible poverty. Like you will not even be able to. By the time you'll be so driven for that thing that God, one of the ways God allow us pass through certain things to create compassion within us. Yeah. Your compassion comes from your scars, the things that happen to you. If something has happened to you before and you see somebody else going through that thing, you can never. Yeah. You can never turn it. Another person might see the same person. Let's say you were homeless for 2 years and you were busy going from a friend's house to another friend, and they were busy mistreating you and they were throwing you out and all that. Tomorrow when you have an estate, even if you have a one room and you find somebody or a friend who is stranded, no matter what, you will take that person into your room. Why? You have passed through that person and that person is currently passing through. You can relate. It brings compassion. Compassion doesn't come from mouth. It doesn't come from speaking a lot of English. It comes from your experience. Yeah. You must have passed through that. That is why God have to take us through those, allow us to pass through those. I won't say He's one that makes those things come to us. In quotes, He doesn't impose bad things on us. But whatever it is that happens to us, because we're on earth, it's bound to happen. You are bound to pass through misfortune. You are bound to pass through both good and bad experiences. As long as you are on this earth, you must pass through situations. So when those situations happen to you, God has a way of channeling it. He will turn those ashes and turn them into gold. That's why He can see a Paul that was busy killing Christians, busy fighting them, putting them in prison, and he was like, this guy. All he had to do was just change his focus. He saw the guy's energy, he saw the guy's passion, he saw his zeal, he saw everything he was giving just to, and the only thing, and he was doing all those things on the wrong path. Yeah. The only thing God needed to do was just to shift his gaze. Channel it. Exactly. Finish. So probably you're doing these things and you're going in the wrong direction. God has to just shift you. And He will use those things you pass through, those things you've been through, and tomorrow. Because if you're running on your journey towards purpose, will never told you that you must get to that point where you feel like giving up. The only thing that will keep you going is passion. Passion is one crazy thing that even when everybody is like, how can you, like for example me now, I can stay in a room, sit down on a chair and read for 7 hours. 7 straight hours. Someone like, okay, how do you sit in a room, only you, and be studying for 7 hours? My dear, when I see where I'm going to, I see the vision, I know that this is necessary. I just have to do it, even though it's not convenient for me. But the passion that is driving me. Years back, I learned something. I think when I was that was when I was in school. One day I was reading my Bible. It was my final year, and I read a part of the Bible. I think I was in a personal lecture day, and then I read a part of the Bible, Romans 8. I fell under anointing in my room. Like, I fell down. I was shaking. Nobody touched me. I just fell down. So there are people waiting for me. It dawned on me, like, so there an entire generation is waiting for me, and I'm here misbehaving. He placed that urgency within me that the more you waste time, the more they remain in that bondage. The more you waste time, the more you go about playing, joking, messing around, the more you are putting those people, they will continue being. It's like people that they've been placed in prison for whatever cause. Let's say they didn't even do it, they're just there. Because normally people are going through stuff today that they didn't plan. The devil just carry them and start missing. You don't even have to do any evil in this world for people to hate you. You don't have to do any evil for somebody to carry your name to have bad. You don't even have to do any evil for somebody to start persecuting you. So there are people who are there for no reason, and the devil is placing them in those bondage, and you are the deliverer. As long as you have not come to that recognition, that consciousness that people are waiting for me, unless you are a selfish person. As long as you are not selfish, you know that people are depending on you. A generation, an entire group of people are depending on what you know today. That's why, for example, when I see people, let's say you are struggling with masturbation, I'm using an example now, and you are not making any effort to come out of that thing. There is a long line of young guys, young ladies that are struggling with that same thing, that are waiting for you to come out of it. If you come out of it and you get the exact blueprint, you get the strategies on how to come out of the of masturbation, no matter how long you have been, people that will pursue you are too much, because it's a canker that is currently eating the young people, a very deep canker, and they're looking for who will help them out of this. It's taking them into depression, it's leading them to low self-esteem, it's making them hate their life. In fact, some of them is even taking them into attempting suicide, because it's making their life miserable. And you are currently going through it. If you know that it is upon you to work on that thing and go any extra mile to get the solution, so that when you stand in front of them, you will not be missing words. If you're able to get just as small as overcoming masturbation, the level of people that will follow you.
Exactly.
So now, God cannot use you if you have not passed through that thing. Somebody said that many people are too innocent to be used by God. I've not gone through anything in this life. You're just living a cruising life. Oh, you came out of a billionaire family. You've been cruising. No experience. Nothing. You're too innocent. You don't have scars. It was Rick Joyner that said in heaven, the guy usually have revelations about it. He said that in heaven, one of the ways people are being rated is by their scars. That's why Apostle Paul said, henceforth let no man trouble me, because I bear upon me the mark. That mark is as a result of a wound that have closed and it now have scars. The bigger your scar, the bigger it is, the higher your level. Because when they are trying to persecute you, you show them your scar. Jesus Christ can come out now, and you know when he came back from the grave, he showed them where he was pierced, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That scar shows a lot of representation.
Story in your pain.
Stories, thank you. The story in your pain. God will have to use your pain to help many people who are currently in different pains. If you don't have a pain, if you don't have a story, you don't have any challenge, you have not been through anything, you have just been enjoying a flexing life, you cannot help anybody. You will have to, as one of the ways to discover purpose is through your pain. What have you gone through in life? What are the challenges you've passed through? What did you struggle with? I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled with identity crisis. I struggled with self-hatred. I struggled with lack of purpose. I remember that period, I was like, what can I do? Okay, I stayed with a relative who was always constantly saying that you're not good at anything. Like, I was just failing at anything. I wrote WAEC 3 times. I wrote NECO 3 times. I wrote JAM 4 times. I wrote GC once. I was just busy failing. And I was looking for admission. I wasn't getting the admission. The JAMs, I was writing the JAMs and I was passing the JAMs. But the WAEC, the NECO was just beating me front, back and center. And they pursued me. I wasn't even getting, everything was messed up. I was like, the person was like, you're not good at anything. When I even got admission into the school, I was asking myself, what am I good at? I wasn't really good at. I was not seeing anything I was good at. I know I had a friend who was very good at playing piano. He just handle the piano like this. Everybody. And I said, let me go and learn piano.
Maybe it's your purpose.
I used my feeding money and paid somebody to learn piano. Each time the guy is teaching me, I'm sleeping on top the piano because it was very boring. God, it was so boring. Every day I was sleeping. The girl was like, are you sleeping? I'm teaching you, you're sleeping. Like, it was really boring. God, it was very boring. Every time he's teaching me, tell me key G, key F. What kind of boring something is that? Like, I paid like 2 different times to learn it. It wasn't entry. I know that this my friend can sing, this one can dance, this one can play piano. I wasn't good at anything. I was not seeing anything I was good at. Do you know, one of the strengths the devil uses on us is that he makes us focus so much on our bad aspects, on our limitations. And because we are focusing on our limitations, we are not seeing the advantages that we have. You cannot see your advantage when you are focusing on your limitation.
Yeah.
You will have to shift out of that limitation and start seeing, even if it's one thing you are good at and you are focusing on it. My father will always say that work on your strength, and your limitations will become invisible. They are still there, but people will no longer care about them because your strength is bigger.